Hello and welcome to episode 52 of the HamCorp training manual. In this episode, we will complete the Division Sigil activation ritual, obtain a source of infinite lapis caelestis, and upgrade our circuits to the next tier, the quantum tier. Now that I've cleaned the graffiti off of Ham Tower, we can continue. What the fuck? How long has that been there? Okay, anyway, the Division Sigil. I want to perform the activation ritual for this because the activated sigil allows me to make unstable ingots, and unstable ingots are required to make lapis caelestis, which is probably my favorite colored block for building. They're just so much more vibrant than the anti-blocks, and they don't have the black border around them. I noticed though, there's actually a quest for this. But I have a little bit of stuff to do before that. So I need to make some alumentum, and I need to make an enchanting table. I already have an enchanting table from, I have no idea. But I do need to get some alumentum. So we're ready to do the activation ritual now. But I'm also going to do the silky jewel thing. I think I have one in storage. This activation ritual is going to make a bunch of cursed earth, which can only be dug up with a silk touch shovel. So I'm going to have to sacrifice something. And you, sir, look like a fine specimen. After all of this strange activity going on at HamCorp and all of these hog references, these pigs must be to blame. So I'm going to sacrifice one. I also need the enchanting table and 8 redstone dust. It also needs to be nighttime. In fact, it needs to be midnight. I think by the time I set all of this up, it's going to be midnight. I'm going to do this somewhat far from the base. Just because I don't really remember how this works. Is this a blood moon? Or is it just red for no reason? It's a blood moon, right? No better time to do this, I guess. So, enchanting table down. Redstone around it. Now I'm just going to survive this onslaught of blood moon mobs while I wait for midnight. And at midnight, I'm going to place the pig on the altar and kill it. And that should activate the Division Sigil. Alright, my sigil is glowing. The time is now. Okay, that didn't work. What if I kill it with a sword? Come here. Here we go. That's a lot of mobs. I don't know if this is just Blood Moon or if this is related to the ritual, but also that's a lot of cursed earth. I need to dig this up. Oh my god. These are a lot of mobs. What the fuck? Maybe I'll just come back after the blood moon and dig this up later. Uh-oh. Okay, it's on fire. Don't know why. I need more cursed earth for the quest. No! Alright, I'm done. Holy shit. That was the worst. I want my enchanting table back too. Fuck. Alright, I'm out of here, bro. God damn. Now, this Division Sigil we can use to make unstable ingots. However, we can only do that 256 times. Then we'll have to activate another Division Sigil. Also, the unstable ingots are very dangerous because they explode after 10 seconds. They also explode if you close the crafting window, or if you throw the ingot on the ground. Very difficult to use. There is a second ritual. This one is a bit harder. So it's a larger ritual. It needs to be done in the end. I need like a billion different potions, a billion different music discs. Ugh. All of these items, all of these items. Yeah, just like a lot of stuff. And a beacon to top it off. And this needs to be done in the end, and I need to sacrifice an iron golem, which is fine. But then I'm going to get attacked by mobs with haste, and I need to kill 100 of them to successfully complete the ritual. On top of that, if I die, or if I leave the dimension, it fails. Honestly, I am not feeling very confident with my current setup, so I think that is going to have to wait until I upgrade my armor and my weapons. Unstable ingots are also quite expensive because it costs a diamond and an iron ingot for each one. The iron ingots are fine. We have 23,000 iron ingots, 24,000. But the diamonds are a bit more expensive. I only have a few stacks. There is an alternative way to get the lapis caelestis, and that is bees. There is a caelestis bee, and it basically gives you all of the different colors. And this bee is made from a diamond bee and an unstable bee. And the unstable B is made from diamond and iron, with an unstable ingot block as a foundation. It's probably worth doing this. I should do this. So the diamond B is right here in the breeding tree, which is not that far from where we are, so I could do this. I haven't wasted my time doing this ritual because I still need the unstable ingot block to do it, so I would have had to do this anyway. Surprise, B episode. So our starting point is a monastic drone. Normally you get this from trading with a beekeeper villager, but there's a quest where you can just buy one. So I'm gonna do that. Well, for the very next bee, I need another monastic. So I do have to go villager trading. So I'm still flying around trying to find a village with a beekeeper, and I got a pop-up. This quest reset, so I can do this again. Now the Certus bee is interesting, because I could get Certus combs, which is Certus quartz, and I need that for applied energistics. So this is a big bee. Now this is nice, because we get diamond combs, which is infinite diamonds. Alright, time to make the first unstable ingots and compress them into a block. No explosion. Whoa. Here is the unstable princess and some drones. And this should get us our caelestis bee. Took a few cycles, but here it is. I'm gonna let this run and generate some of these caelestis combs, get my caelestis, and then replace all these anti-blocks. We are back with shaders. I basically switched out Angelica for Optifine just for this. And yeah, I can feel the performance hit. I'm still getting over 60 FPS, so on YouTube you might not be able to tell the difference, but I feel it. Anyway, here's the difference between anti-blocks and lapis caelestis. They're both good. Like, anti-blocks are good, but I just like this a lot more. Let's try out some more. That is painfully bright. For this, I think maybe maybe the anti-blocks are actually better. So I guess I'm going to be using a mix of the two, and I'll decide which to use on a color by color basis, because the lapis caelestis is just way too bright. What about the pink for Ham? Oh, this is very bright, but we're also not going to ever be close to the signs, so I think I am going to switch this one out. But yeah, I have a few other things to check out, and I will replace them as I see fit. And I'll turn on shaders pretty much only for screenshots, because this is a pretty significant decrease in performance. Alright, time to get back onto progression. So we need to make an IV emitter and an IV sensor. I already have a sensor from, I think, a loot bag or something, but I have taught both of these recipes to my applied energistics system. The emitter, of course, needs iridium, which was our problem from before that we've now kind of solved. We have iridium dust, but to make hot iridium ingots, we need an IV blast furnace. Currently, all of our blast furnaces are EV, so I could just add a second energy hatch here and then turn them into IV blast furnaces, but that's going to use 16 amps of power. If I supervise this and I introduce a battery buffer here, then it should be fine to upgrade the entire blast furnace all at once, because it is a quad blast furnace. I could, in theory, just upgrade one of them or two of them, but with a battery buffer here, I could upgrade all of them. I would have to be a little careful and watch the energy stored in the battery buffer, because if it runs out, this is going to run out of power and void my iridium, which is unacceptable. And the whole reason I'm even talking about this is because 16 amps is the maximum capacity of these cables. It's also the maximum capacity of our LSC. So we're outputting at 16 amps of EV. That is our absolute maximum. So in that 16 amps, we're going to have to run the blast furnace, which is going to consume 16 amps. And we're going to have to run everything else in the base, including applied energistics, and that's a problem. It would be fine with my battery buffer solution here. Regardless, I'm going to eventually start upgrading everything to IV, and that is going to gobble up my power. So I need to work on upgrading my power situation. The easiest solution would be just to make more combustion engines, but another option, nuclear reactor, and that could be fun. I haven't done a nuclear reactor setup in a long time. To be honest, I think if I did a nuclear setup now, that would be a little bit too much information in a single training manual episode. I'm gonna do another building stream, I think, where I build the nuclear reactor building. So I think nuclear setup deserves its own episode. Instead, I'm just going to make another set of 4 combustion engines. That'll bring me up to 24 amps of EV, and I'll add another dynamo hatch, and probably a transformer, so we can transform up to a higher voltage and transport this power around more easily. Okay, I'm gonna go make 4 more combustion engines. I'll be right back. Okay. This is a lot of pig vandalism going on lately. This is fucked up, actually. What the hell? Wait, what's your name? You? Will, feed us. Oh, fuck. More like you will kill us. My bad, bro. Well, better than, what they were going through before, I guess. I've set up the second quad combustion engine, but now we're making more than 16 amps of EV, so this cable is not going to be able to hold all of it. So I've made some high amp transformers, EV to IV. These will convert 16 amps of EV to 4 amps of IV. But the IV cable that I have access to right now that is cheap-ish is platinum cable, and that's not cheap at all. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to transform up to 4 amps of IV, and then I'm going to transform again to 1 amp of LUV, because the LUV cable is vanadium gallium, and that I think is much cheaper than platinum cables. And making vanadium gallium is very much doable. It's only an HV recipe, and it only needs TPV coils. Vanadium gallium dust itself is an EV recipe. All of this is very much within reach. Okay, so I've rewired this vanadium gallium cable, and we bring it all the way here, where we transform it back down into EV to feed into the supercapacitor. The only reason we have to transform it back down is because we don't have access to the IV hatch or the LUV hatch. So we only have the EV hatch, which means we do need to transform. I'm going to have to do basically the same thing with the output. I'm going to have to transform this up into LUV, take it around, and then transform it back down. This is going to take a while to switch out the cable. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to upgrade this set of cable, and I'll take it all the way to the blast furnace or whatever. And I'm not going to replace the entire cable at once, and wherever there's an interface between the LUV cable and the IV cable, I'll just put in a transformer set. And then eventually, over time, I'll slowly replace all of the cables to LUV. Nearly done now. I've just hooked up some transformer chains. I have all of these machines on a separate battery buffer, except for our biggest HSSG quad EBF. This has its own dedicated battery buffer. Also, I noticed that the implosion compressor and this, well, one of these EBFs is still on HV. I need to also upgrade those, so I will probably do that as I'm upgrading this one. This is working well. This is all set up. Our blast furnace is IV, and the iridium is cooking. We are in a good place. We still don't make enough power to keep up with the blast furnaces going all the time, so we do have to be a little mindful of how big of an iridium blast we request. But I mean, I could always just slap down more of these. Oh man, I stopped recording for a second. I claimed this quest reward. It gave me indium dust, and that finished this quest. I was leaving this incomplete on purpose so I don't forget. So I guess I won't claim this reward until I actually set up indium. Anyway, it's time to make the IV circuit assembler. Now to get the next level of circuits, we're going to need qubit wafers and qubit processing units. It needs an EV cutting machine in the clean room. And the qubit wafers, these are also an EV recipe. And while we could make an EV chemical reactor and put it in the clean room, you actually don't need to do that because the large chemical reactor counts as a clean room. It does still need to be EV though, and this one is only HV. I'm going to move this downstairs with all the other multi-blocks, and I'm going to upgrade this to EV. To make the qubit wafer, we have two options. You can either use indium gallium phosphide, which I'm not going to do, or we can use 2-quantumize. This upper recipe is kind of objectively better because radon is basically free. It uses like a little bit of uranium, but yeah, this is basically free. This is just waiting. We can now make the quantum line of circuits. So this is a single-step EV circuit, 2-step IV circuit, 3-step LUV circuit, and a 4-step ZPM circuit. It's our first ZPM circuit. So just like we did before, I'm going to go through all of these old nano tier recipes and replace them with quantum versions. Because the higher up you go in the circuit tiers, the cheaper it gets, for the most part. Thank Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will take a break from completing quests and finally set up the elevator and Ham Tower. We will also look into Bibliocraft for decorating the CEO office. We will also set up more floors for commercial use. We will figure out what is going on with all of these pig-based events that have been occurring lately, and trust me, you don't want to miss the next episode. See you next time.